There's a modern superstar whose name is David Bowie. Now, if you put two David Bowie fans together and ask them to describe him, the chances are neither would recognize the man the other was talking about. Or 10 David Bowie fans, 10 different descriptions. That's what makes him a superstar. And here to explain is Tom Hoving.
Hugh, David Bowie wants to play everyone in a crowd of people all at the same time. His many sides and many faces make him one of today's most fascinating entertainers. Watch. Singer, film actor, stage actor, star, one of the boys, one of the girls, clown, astronaut, mime, disc jockey, painter, strange painter. The song is called Changes. David Bowie wrote it in 1971, and over the years it has become more than just one of Bowie's catalog of hit songs. It is the theme on which Bowie has built a career. In an age when everybody specializes, even rock and roll singers, David Bowie still wants to try everything.
I said the time they changed me. I can't trace time.
Today, David Bowie is 33 years old. He has recorded 17 rock albums, produced a gallery full of paintings, acted in 2 feature films, and is the only rock star ever to act in a play on Broadway. Bowie never seems to stand still. When he no longer feels challenged by one art form, he moves on to the next, and the next, and the next. It's as if David Bowie learned to run before he learned to walk. David Bowie was born David Jones on the other side of the tracks in Brixton, a tough, grimy, working-class suburb of London. For Bowie, growing up in Brixton, the only way to bring color into his life was to invent it. At 9 years of age, he was already dreaming of becoming a painter. And then, along came a singer who changed everything.
I didn't show any particular leanings towards anything much until I hit about 9 or 10. And then I fell in love with the Little Richard Band. I'd never heard anything that lived in such bright colors in the air. It really just painted the whole room for me.
It didn't take David Bowie long to discover Little Richard's secret, that performance was as important as the music itself. Bowie took the flamboyance and color of Little Richard's stage show, updated it with an outer space theme, added in his training as a mime, and in 1972 created one of the most memorable characters in all of rock and roll, Ziggy Stardust.
Now Ziggy play guitar, jamming good with weird and spiders from Mars, with a bladed left hand.
I'd always found it sort of embarrassing to sing my own songs as me. Most of the songs I was writing at the time were about characters, and that's when it came to me that the best thing for me to do was put those characters on stage myself, and then it started becoming exciting. He was this kind of megalomaniac little prophet figure who came down to tell us that it was all over. We're never quite sure whether he meant it or not, whether he was from outer space or not.
In '72, when he came out with Ziggy, everybody was getting very, very bored with seeing these groups going on stage and just boogieing endlessly. Lots of guitar solos, drum solos. And he just came out, and he was 3-minute songs, and they were very sharp, very pertinent. He dressed outrageously. He reintroduced sex into music at that time, I think.
The magnetism of Ziggy Stardust was his sexual ambiguity. The stage show was carefully designed so that Ziggy's fans couldn't really tell whether he was male or female. even went so far as to tell the press at the time that he was bisexual. It was a bewildering performance, both on and off stage, because David Bowie was actually becoming Ziggy Stardust.
Now Ziggy played guitar.
I found I was being treated very differently because I did look like Ziggy because, damn it, I didn't have any eyebrows. My hair was bright red and whatever. And because of that, it was very hard to wear a banker's suit, so my clothes automatically changed to suit the kind of character I was playing. So, and by that token, the people would approach me as Ziggy Stardust, not as David Bowie anymore, who in fact is David Jones, as you well know. So the three of us had a hell of a time for quite a few years, and it did nearly drive me over the brink.
But Ziggy was only one of many Bowie characters. For example, Bowie has been a space oddity named Major Tom,
Oh, yeah.
a pinup, a diamond dog, a lad insane, and a young American.
His hook, his greatest hook, is change and always will be. Somebody who can make the world accept them through all their changes is the greatest, because most artists, especially in the rock world, as you probably know, they reach a certain point in their development, they start selling millions of records, and the record company says, stay right there, more like that, more tracks just like that, you know, don't go changing your hair for me.
But Bowie did keep changing. As he ran away from Brixton and from Ziggy Stardust, Bowie wandered all the way from London to Los Angeles, while his face and his music and his lifestyle changed faster and faster and faster, until finally...
In '76, it almost crashed forever, didn't it?
Oh, completely. I'd fallen for the rock and roll kind of existence, that I got a house in Bel Air and all that. And it was a pretty sordid kind of feeling. It pervaded the atmosphere, and there was all these strange people hanging about. I'd wake up and there'd be people in my living room that I'd never seen before, and trouble is, I didn't really care that they were in my living room, and it all started to build up like that. Unfortunately, I had two very close friends who took me to one side and said that I had to get away. I had to go away.
Bowie was not only disgusted by Los Angeles, he was disgusted by the imminent Los Angelisation of himself. So he got right out of the States. Couldn't face England yet, but he went to Europe, went to live in Berlin, took a two-room apartment over a car showroom, started living on his own, doing his own laundry, his own shopping, cleaning the flat himself. I mean, for a man who used to travel with an entourage of 23 people, including a hairdresser, and someone purely to look after his clothes, it was quite a step.
After Berlin, Bowie's frantic change of pace became slower, more carefully planned. And instead of just music changes, now he jumped from one art form to another. For example, just as his rock fans cheered his reemergence as a singer, Bowie would narrate Peter and the Wolf with the Philadelphia Orchestra.
Early one morning, Peter opened the gate and went out into the big green meadow.
And when his fans thought he might be going classical, Bowie would turn up in an outer space film.
Is this music
Ziggy Stardust had now grown up to be the man who fell to earth, but he didn't sing.
I'd like to hear people sing. Let's have singing. Find some singing.
And just when his fans began to look upon Bowie as little more than a weird space character, bing, he'd pop up on the purest form of family television.
Years from now, perhaps we'll see the day of glory.
In Bowie's newest album, Scary Monsters, his fans will recognize an old Bowie character.